It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host for the day, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Lots of big stuff to get into, starting off with today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, a time to showcase our gratitude and thanks to all of our first responders and to give thanks for everything that they do to keep our community safe. I recently had the chance to speak with some officers at the West Bloomfield Police Station to hear what they had to say on why they got involved in law enforcement in the first place.
As a school resource officer, I, along with one other school resource officer, were responsible for most juvenile incidents that occur in the township as well as within the schools. I was a former school teacher for 5 years, so part of my heart is still in that aspect, and I believe it's a great way to impact the lives of students and West Bloomfield residents.
I always saw movies and TV shows growing up, and I just thought it was really interesting, especially seeing like the stuff in the courtroom afterwards and the investigations and things like that. I just thought it was really interesting.
My brother has cerebral palsy. He has special needs. I've spent my entire life working with people and being surrounded by people who need help and have a different lifestyle than the average person. And law enforcement has a lot of connections and goes out on a lot of mental health calls or helping those with special needs. And I kind of value to the department because I have a different perspective than other people have because I've grown up a different way. And my sense of wanting to put other people before me and having the responsibility of helping people and being the person that pulls them out if they need help comes from my family situation. And I know that going into law enforcement, I can help people that way.
Some very powerful reasons that hit close to home for some of our local officers. But as cool and exciting as a job in law enforcement may be, there are also some very real challenges that come with the jobs, as these officers later explained to me.
Most people don't realize that everything we do is different. Every call we respond to, it's different. Nothing is the same. So it's really hard to prepare for something when everything you do is different. And we deal with a lot of people with mental health crisis, and that's something that prior to doing this I didn't realize I would be doing. But we help a lot of people going through a crisis, and that's something that we're the first ones to respond to that.
We are on the radio with both police and fire at the same time that we're on the phone. We're doing a lot of paperwork at the same time, a lot of research at the same time, and we're managing court paperwork also sometimes at the same time. So we do a lot more than most people would think that we do.
We usually respond to, people having situations on their worst day. We usually don't interact with people having their best day. That's why they call us out there. So a lot of what we do is going out and assisting people with whatever problem they might be having that day. So it can be surrounded in some negativity at times, but that's why we do it, because we can go out to those people that are having a bad day and do what we can to make it better.
Like these officers said, it's not an easy job by any means, but the appreciation from the citizens of the West Bloomfield community makes all of the hard work worth it in the end. And the officers explained to me just how much the community's support really means to them and touches their hearts.
Our residents are great with showing appreciation. We can almost depend on, like if you have to work Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, our residents feed us on those days. But just day-to-day response to calls, you are able to help and see appreciation with the people that you're helping on a day-to-day basis when you go on calls.
We're fortunate enough to work in a township here where we're supported by our population. very frequently when we do go out to calls, people are thanking us, or just driving through subdivisions, driving down the road, people, wave to us, smile. So it feels good to be able to make an impact on the community in that way.
People come in, and even if it's like the smallest thing, like to you it's not a big problem, right? To somebody else it's a huge problem. And you give them all the resources, you figure out the answers for them, you figure it out. And like those people, they get so excited and they get so happy in their emotions, even if it's still like not the greatest answer that they want, their relief is pushed off their shoulder. They feel like somebody's helping you. And seeing how much my help helps them and how all our resources work for them in solving all their issues is tremendous. And I stand by the fact that like you're not just the only person in the world. There's a million other people, and things don't work unless there's communication and we're working as a community. I want to make my mark in the world, and I know that helping other people and showing them that I care means more than you could have ever known.
These officers certainly make their mark every single day, and we thank them so much for everything that they do for the West Bloomfield community and beyond. So a big thank you to all of the officers who took the time to meet with me and to tell me their thoughts on working in this amazing community. And local communities or local businesses are also showcasing their support for our local officers, including Detroit Archers, who recently held their Heroes Day Shoot for Life to give back to our first responders who dedicate their lives to protecting and serving our community. Civic Center TV's very own Kevin McIntosh takes us to the range to show us how this event is making a difference for our hometown heroes.
At Detroit Archers, first responders in Greater West Bloomfield are being honored with the unique opportunity to try their hand at archery, thanks to a partnership from a local organization, Shoot for Life. It's all part of Heroes Day, a special event designed to show appreciation to those who serve our community.
It's nice to have some positive feedback for us. As first responders, we're go, giving back to the community 24/7. So to have some recognition given back is just appreciated. I've been into archery for probably 25 years. And so for me, archery has always been just a therapeutic thing where when you're shooting, you have to focus on every shot. Your mind can't be focused on anything else. And coming from law enforcement where you're on a level 10, most times it just helps you break away from that stress and break away from that, constant go.
Anytime the community can give back to those who serve the community, it's a great gesture. Unique events like this wouldn't be possible without the initiative and partnership of a local business and local organization like Shoot for Life.
So to create Heroes Day, it's an outreach from the mission and to grow. This is our 10th year with the organization. And so to create it is to honor our first responders, our military, create an atmosphere of camaraderie, while promoting the therapeutic aspects of archery. For those who've never shot a bow, when you're shooting a bow, there's so many focal points that whatever you have going on, good or bad in your life, you tend to forget about it, and you enjoy, guys are shooting on the range and they're not thinking about anything else. So that's what it's about.
So I have personally known Tom for quite a few years now. He's always been trying to give back to the outside archery community and the local community. We love to support them as best we can, to give back when we can. We have a very nice property here, lots of space to put on shoots like this, and that's basically what it's all about, is just trying to give back to others who help support us throughout the years with archery, both indoor, outdoor, and hunting aspects like that.
A key takeaway from the efforts of Heroes Day is the love it takes first responders to serve Greater West Bloomfield is the same love it takes the community to support our first responders. We also learn other ways we can comfort public safety officials.
My suggestion there would be get to know your first responders, whether it be law enforcement, paramedics, firefighters. There's a lot of great people in all avenues of life, and I think a lot of first responders get overlooked because most times people have contact with them, it's a negative event. So if there's a event like this, if there's an event where you can reach out and get in contact, meet them off duty because they're just normal people.
Heroes Day is not only about giving back to our local first responders, but also about strengthening community ties. Events like this remind us of the importance of showing gratitude to those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe. From Detroit Archers in West Bloomfield, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
A big thank you to Kevin for going out and getting that story, and a big thank you to Detroit Archers for giving back to these first responders and for everything that they do to help out the community. If you want a chance to assist the first responders and to become a part of the West Bloomfield Police Department team, they are currently hiring dispatchers to join their team. So if you're looking to make a difference in the community, this is your chance to join their team. And here to tell us more about the position and about what dispatchers do for the community, we have a dispatcher with the West Bloomfield Police Department, Jen Curran, joining us right now on the Splash Live. Jen, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Really happy to have you with us and really happy to be getting into this topic of conversation. What can you tell us about what dispatchers do for the West Bloomfield Police Department?
So our dispatchers answer both 911 emergency and then our non-emergency lines. We answer phone calls for West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake. We handle all 4 cities. For our emergency lines, we handle police, fire, and medical. Then we also monitor all the radio traffic for all 4 cities for the police and fire departments. We keep track of things going on in the township and where everybody's at and what they're doing.
Wow, so this expands well beyond just what the police department does. This expands to everything.
Yes, yeah, we are kind of a control center for the city.
That's certainly a lot of responsibility for someone like you and for someone to take on for the city, and a very, very important job. What are some characteristics that are very important to have if you want to become a dispatcher for West Bloomfield?
The biggest one is really you have to be calm under pressure. When people are calling us, they are experiencing the emergency. They're looking for calm and guidance. You have to be able to think on your feet real fast, come up with some creative solutions sometimes to the things people are calling about, and just really be able to multitask between our different systems and all the different people we have out there serving the community.
Interesting. So definitely a lot to keep an eye on. And what about some of the difficulties that come with a job like this? Because I would imagine in an environment like the police station, things can get very stressful, especially if it is a very, very high emergency.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the hardest parts sometimes is just balancing all the different things we have going on. When you have different units and people at different places and they're all handling different kinds of incidents, it can become very confusing and overwhelming about remembering who is where and what they're doing and making sure that they are safe and everybody's accounted for, as well as still continuing to maintain your duties in the center of continuing to answer those incoming phone calls and keep track of the radio traffic that's going on and just making sure everything's handled. Another challenge to this is sometimes listening to those difficult phone calls where people are really going through a traumatic and stressful time, and it weighs on you and it's heavy on your heart, and sometimes you carry it with you, but we just got to remember we're there to help and help them get through it.
For those just joining us, we have Jen Curran from the West Bloomfield Police Department, who's a dispatcher, telling us about her position and what they're looking for from other people who might be interested in joining the police department as dispatchers. And Jen, I want to ask you, what made you want to decide to join the West Bloomfield Police Department as a dispatcher? What made you want to go into this line of work?
So I've always had an interest in public safety, helping people, being involved in the community, and the world of dispatch really let me be involved in that in a way where I could be an active part of it and I could help people that you don't always hear about and people kind of forget is there. And what I had found is that I really, truly love being involved. I love being able to help people over the phone and listen to that relief come over their voice when they know help is on the way, and really just kind of help take care of the community in a way that's kind of behind the scenes.
Interesting. And it's great, everything that you do. And I think you just touched on this just a little bit in what you just said, but talk to me about what about this job is so fulfilling for you and what you really gain from this position?
It really is helping the people, helping the community. You build really strong relationships with people over the years here and through different things that we experience, both good and bad. and just being able to take all that knowledge you gain from one phone call and use it for the next one and help that next person just a little bit better, and really realize that you made a difference and they appreciate what you're doing.
And I would imagine in working with the community and being out at a lot of these community events, seeing a lot of these people firsthand, what have been some of the things that local residents have had to say to you regarding the work that you do and showing their gratitude?
The citizens are always very grateful. We have a few that actually recognize the voices of a couple of our other dispatchers, and they go, "Oh my gosh, I just spoke to you last week and you helped me out. I'm so appreciative. I'm grateful." They ask a lot of questions about the work we do and how it works and how the process goes, and just being able to educate them and let them build on that knowledge is so great when you're able to go out there and meet people.
And that's amazing for making those bonds with the community. And the fact that they recognize you just from your voice says a lot, and says a lot of the great work that you do. And are these a lot of the characteristics that you hope people gain if they join the West Bloomfield Police Department and join the dispatching team?
Oh, absolutely. And we always try to encourage it through our training and the training we send them to and provide. And then just their interactions with the citizens as well. It really builds a lot on your relationships, like I had said, with the people in the community, just those day-to-day interactions.
Awesome. Well, Jen, I really want to thank you so much for your time here on The Splash today. One more question before we let you go. Can you provide a little more information on what the West Bloomfield Police Department is looking for in regards to their dispatchers?
So our dispatchers, you have to be 18 or older. You have to have a high school diploma. We do prefer college, but it's not required. And you really just have to have a willingness to learn, because we will offer you all the training on the job. We send you to any mandatory training, and we really try to just kind of take care of you once you're in the door and get you geared up to be one of our great dispatchers.
All right, you heard it here first. That's what they're looking for, and that is what the West Bloomfield Police Department wants on their team. Jen, thank you so much for your time today here on The Splash.
Thank you. Have a good one.
I certainly will, and I hope you do as well. Lots of great information and a great way to get involved here in the community and to become a part of the law enforcement as we do celebrate Law Enforcement Appreciation Day here on The Splash. The weather is certainly taking a turn here in the next few days. Colder temperatures are coming in the next few days. Temperatures are dropping, and the roads are going to be very, very tricky to navigate as this Michigan weather continues to roll on. And there are some very important tips that you need to be made aware of in order to stay safe on the roads this winter season. And here to tell us more about some of these tips, we have the Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission of Oakland County, Craig Bryson, joining us today on The Splash. Craig, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us, as always, and really interested to get into this conversation because we have started to see the snow starting to fall. And what should people start to be looking out for now that this is becoming a factor once again?
Well, first and foremost, I would monitor your weather forecast so you know what's happening, what's likely to happen, when it's going to happen. And then if and when the snow comes, by all means, slow down. Don't drive as fast as you normally would. Even when we're out salting, plowing, there's the potential for slippery, icy conditions and even whiteout conditions, as we saw over the Thanksgiving holiday. So please slow down for your own safety and for the safety of those on the road around you.
That's absolutely right. I mean, weather can be chaotic anywhere in the United States, and Michigan is certainly no exception, especially when it comes to snow. So what are some of the biggest dangers that might be present as these big snowstorms start to become more common?
Well, when we get the heavy snow, and we have things like whiteout conditions or just very heavy snow, we will be out with all available trucks. But frankly, if we had twice as many trucks as we have, we wouldn't be able to have every inch of road cleared, plowed, salted at every moment. So despite, the best efforts and intentions of the Road Commission, there are going to be situations where the roads are not ideal. And drivers, it's incumbent upon drivers to please drive appropriately for those conditions. increase the space between you and other vehicles in the front, slow down, be extremely cautious, give yourself more space to turn, to switch lanes, that kind of thing. Really, caution, I can't emphasize that enough. Caution is really important during those conditions.
Caution is key, absolutely. And I'm glad that you started talking about what the Road Commission is doing around this time of year. And I'm curious, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you guys tend to face around the winter season?
Well, the biggest one really is the forecasting. Forecasting is as much an art as it is a science. Even though we have meteorologists, with advanced degrees, they're able to study the weather. But even their best forecasts are not always accurate. And there are times when we get a forecast for a big storm that doesn't materialize and we're out doing nothing. There are other times when we get no advance warning that there's going to be a big storm and we have to play catch up. Those are the more challenging situations. If we are not expecting snow, we can't be out on the road preparing for it. We monitor multiple forecasting services. We have our own paid services. We monitor the local media sources. But again, they're not always completely accurate. Storms can change directions at the drop of a hat. They can develop at the drop of a hat, and we'll respond as quickly as we can. But if we have to call in drivers from home, there can be an hour or more delay between the point where we call those drivers in, they get to the garage, get in their truck, get their truck loaded up with salt, and get out on the road. So again, caution on the part of the drivers is really critical this time of year.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, we have Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission of Oakland County, Craig Bryson, joining us on the Splash to talk about some things to watch out for on the roads as we start to see a bit more snowfall, a bit more ice, and many more factors that could come into play, and the importance of keeping yourself safe. And Craig, I want to talk about maybe you could explain this a bit more. What are some big areas around the West Bloomfield area that people might need to be looking out for more specifically?
Well, the first areas often to freeze or to become slippery are the bridges and overpasses. So anytime you're crossing a bridge or an overpass, and there's not too many overpasses in West Bloomfield, but there are certainly some bridges. Be cautious about those. When you have cold air underneath the road, that'll certainly cause the road temperature to drop more quickly and areas to freeze. Of course, hills and curves are always tricky, and we try to give those added attention. But again, things can materialize quickly. So use extreme caution if you're coming down a hill in potentially icy conditions. If there's a stop at the bottom of the hill, that can be a very difficult situation. So, again, slowing down as much as possible is critical in those situations. Because of our priority system, which is based on safety, we're going to be focusing first on the busiest roads. So the less traveled roads may be a little bit more likely to have a snow accumulation on them at times, and that may make them a little bit more slippery. So the lower the traffic volume, the more caution you really need to apply on those roads as well.
Okay, definitely a lot of great things to watch out for as these things start to become more of a factor. And you talked about a bit more how you guys are working to minimize a lot of these issues. What are some ways you're doing so that maybe the general public might not be as aware of?
Yeah, great question. So we've introduced a lot of new techniques over the last decade or so. Now almost all of our trucks, I think all of them actually have liquid brine tanks on the trucks. So liquid brine is naturally occurring salt water that we pump out of the ground. We literally spray that on the rock salt as it comes out of the back of the truck. That causes the rock salt to activate more quickly, causes it to stick to the pavement more quickly, and speeds the process of melting the snow and ice, as well as reducing the amount of salt we need to use, which is better for the environment. We've also added wing plows to our trucks. Those are the plows that swing out from the side, allowing us to plow a lane and a half at one time. Our newest trucks now have wings on both sides, so we could actually theoretically plow almost 2 full lanes at once. They are also great for plowing the shoulder as well as a through lane at once. We're also doing what's called pre-treating, where we spray the liquid brine on a dry road before the snow has started. and that creates a layer of brine on the road. So when the snow and ice does begin to fall, it mixes with that brine, and that delays the formation of ice, kind of buys us some time in that process.
Wow.
Now, we'll only do that when there's not rain prior to the snow event, because the rain would just wash it off the road. But it's a great way to delay the formation of ice on the roads.
Wow, that's all very, very fascinating. Definitely some factors that I wasn't aware of, and that's really interesting to hear what you guys are doing or what you will be doing this winter season to help protect those roads. And Craig, I also want to ask, are there any factors or incidents that come to mind that serve as a big warning to the community for really what to watch out for during the winter season?
Yeah, unfortunately, every year we have a motorist or two or a couple that will run into the back of our truck. We really, really want to caution people to back off. State law now requires that you follow a truck no closer than 200 feet. That's about 16 parking spaces behind the truck. And again, the reason for that is when a car or passenger vehicle runs into the back of a 12-ton steel truck, it's not good for the passenger vehicle. We often see cars totaled, sadly some injuries. It doesn't affect our trucks very much because, again, they're solid steel, but it's not good for the motorists. And those trucks tend to go more slowly than passenger vehicles, and they take more space to turn and to stop. So please give them the room for your own safety, as well as to allow them to make the roads safe for the rest of us.
That's certainly right. And Craig, we appreciate all of your time and for telling us this information and for giving us a good insight on what to watch out for this season. Before we let you go, where can people go to learn a little more information on what to look out for and maybe some updates on what to watch out for as the weather starts to become a bit rougher?
Absolutely. First, you can go to our website, which is www.rcocweb.org, rcocweb.org. Please follow us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram. We'll post things on there as they're happening, let people know when our trucks are out or if there's problem areas, that type of thing. Those are the best sources to get information directly from the Road Commission.
All right, you heard it here first. That's the website, and that's where to go. Craig Bryson with the Oakland County Road Commission, we thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
All very important information to stay safe on the roads as Michigan winter continues on this season. So big thank you to Craig for his time and for giving us this information. Plenty of other big stories and big topics to get into with The Splash Live right after this quick commercial break. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
What people are watching in Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. West Bloomfield is a city where they love to showcase their local artists and art exhibits everywhere you look. And a brand new one and a brand new gallery event is going to be making its way courtesy of the Friendship Circle right here to West Bloomfield. The Animals exhibition opens January 23rd, showcasing a vibrant and thought-provoking collection of animal-themed artwork. And here to tell us more, we have the featured artists with this exhibit. We have Karen Martell joining us right now on The Splash today. Karen, good morning.
Good morning.
Really happy to have you with us and love to see the artwork behind you. Those both look great. And I'm really curious to hear about what was the thought process in putting this all together. So what inspired your work for the Animals exhibition, and how do you connect with the theme?
I love birds. I had a series in my mind of making birds. And you made the bird. And I made the bird.
Well, the birds look amazing, and really, really happy that you're having this opportunity to showcase your work. What was the process to help create these pieces?
I wanted to do a series of birds. I did about one bird a week until it was finished. I made it with acrylic paint and that's it.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's great. And that's amazing that you were able to put all of this together. What is it like to be a part of Soul Studio and to work with the Friendship Circle?
I love it. I love being here and seeing people and learning how to job better.
Well, that's nice. And then what is it like to build this communication with the West Bloomfield community?
What is it like? How does it feel to be communicating and to show your work? How does it feel?
It feels great to be able to show my work to everybody in the community.
Yeah, and you can say
I even have work at the DIA.
Oh, you have work at the DIA. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what is it like to have this work be going to bigger places like the DIA?
I love it. I love having everything go everywhere and people looking at my work and purchasing my work.
For those just joining us here on The Splash Live, we have featured artist Karen Martell joining us, telling us about the Animals exhibition that's coming up very, very soon on January 23rd with the Friendship Circle. And Karen, I love hearing about this. What is the message that you hope people take away when they see your artwork?
They love it and they take it home. Or they buy it and they take it home.
Simple message. I love it. That's absolutely right. And I would certainly love to take home some of this artwork myself. Why do animals work so well as a theme for you?
Seeing colored animals. Yeah, they're colored, they're bright, they're colorful, and they make it happy.
Well, they make a lot of people happy, absolutely. And working with a place like Soul Studio, how do you feel that they inspire their artists and to help them showcase themselves properly?
Helps relax, and if you're having a hard day, if you're relaxing and painting and stuff, it helps.
Well, that's great. And we love seeing all of this work. You can see some of the artwork right now if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Those are some of Karen's works for the exhibit that's coming up very, very soon. And Karen, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'll ask you one more quick question. How do you hope that the West Bloomfield community responds to this exhibition?
They feel happy to see different animals. Helps give
if
they buy the art at the show, it helps the program and the artists.
That's absolutely right. And the more help the Friendship Circle gets, the more opportunities there are to showcase amazing artists such as yourself. Karen, I want to thank you so much for your time in joining us today here on The Splash Live.
You're welcome. I enjoy doing this.
Well, we enjoy having you with us, and we enjoy seeing all of this amazing artwork here. And once again, this exhibit is going to be taking place on January 23rd, the Animals, Animals, Animals exhibit for the Friendship Circle. So really, really great artwork that you're going to have the chance to see very, very soon. Another big event coming up very soon for the community is the United We Walk event, which is starting to ramp up this January. Our own Kevin McIntosh recently had the chance to learn a bit more about the event from their co-chairs, Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay.
With us right here live on The Splash from United We Walk, we have co-chairs Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us, Kevin.
Yes, so I want to immediately get into it, just pretty much like I just explained. We want to ask, what is United We Walk? Essentially starting off with you, Sonia, what is United We Walk as an organization or an event?
Well, United We Walk as an organization started years ago. And honestly, Jonathan, I think, has been co-chair for a number of years, along with our former co-chair, Jennifer Graham. Jonathan, how long were you co-chair?
Oh, I'd say probably about 3 or 4 years now.
Great. And he probably has more experience with, from the co-chair's perspective. So I'm going to let Jonathan answer that first, and then I'll chime in. Is that okay, Jonathan?
That's great. So,
okay, great.
I think the biggest thing is, it's part of the school district, getting the students involved, and then that way we get the parents and the rest of the community involved as well in terms of furthering Dr. King's legacy. I'd say that's the biggest thing with our organization. And then it started with the walk that had been around the high school, and then we've just sort of added other activities and events with it.
Okay.
Great. And one of the big things and the purpose behind United We Walk is a time for the community to come together and to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mm-hmm. And as a school community, and not just the school community, as a West Bloomfield community, incorporating the schools and citizens of West Bloomfield, it's time for us to reflect, to celebrate, and to also think about how his work continues. And what do we do as a community to acknowledge and honor his legacy?
There you go. I love that. I love that. So yes. Let's dive a little bit more into it. A little bit more. Jonathan, going back to you, how has the United We Walk evolved to meet the changing needs and values of the greater West Bloomfield community, especially since being established in 1995 BC before Corona?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
So, originally it was more of the walk and a program. So people were not necessarily active participants. We've added service projects that are not only on that day, but also year round to make especially the students active participants in furthering Dr. King's legacy. So I'd say that's probably the biggest change since the begingging.
Okay.
Because that day is a focus on a day of service, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what a big part of Dr. King's legacy, that service piece. And it has evolved into those community service projects and opportunities for our students, our families, and the community to be a part of those different projects that we have going on for United We Walk.
Perfect, perfect. And just to reset the show again, with us right here live on the Splash from United We Walk, we have co-chairs Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay talking about the event, the details of it, and what we can expect. Now, Sonia, going back to you, there's a theme for the 2025 event, United We Walk, continuing the dream, building bridges of unity. Seems very, very impactful. With that being said, how do you feel like this thing resonates or will resonate with both the challenges and the opportunities faced by the greater West Bloomfield community?
You know, one of the big things about West Bloomfield as a community, we truly are a community because as Executive Director of Educational Equity for the district, I'm also part of different organizations or different groups. And one of the things with regards to United We Walk, and I think about the work that the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreations are doing with their, their diversity task force, right? Mm-hmm. The work that that's being done in different segments of the community, it helps bridge us together as a community. It recognizes that we as a West Bloomfield community, we are diverse. It recognizes that we as a West Bloomfield community have people from different walks of life, be it ethnically, be it socioeconomic, and then as a community, how we come together, united. Yeah. I think about like Juneteenth, how the community came together for that. I think about just the work that is put into recognizing and honoring each and every individual in West Bloomfield, in each and every religion, each and every background. So it doesn't matter what walk of life that you come from. When you come to West Bloomfield, you will see people of diverse backgrounds and different groups. And you will see a coming together of that and a seeking to understand who we are. So that theme in terms of building bridges of unity is something I think that we are doing a pretty good job of as a community. Are we perfect? No. Is it a work in progress? It is. Because on that day, if you look at who's a part of our membership, a part of our committee, it is a diverse group of different people from different walks of life that are helping put together the United We Walk. Yes. So it's not just Jonathan and I. Right. It's Jonathan, it's I, it's other community members, it's social organizations, it's our fraternities, our sororities. It is everyone coming together on this day to build that bridge because we know that there is a lot of work to do, and we know that there are things that we have accomplished, and there's so much more. And when I look at all the opportunities and possibilities, it's us continuing to come together to do this work hand in hand.
Perfect, perfect. And I love how you use the example of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force and everything that they're doing within the community to kind of tie it together and say that that's an example of us building bridges of unity right here within the community. So thank you for that response and that context also, Sonia. Jonathan, with you, I want to kind of incorporate or talk about the fact that there are student co-chairs of United We Walk. With that being said, how do you incorporate the voices and the leadership of the students in planning and executing this event?
So the student co-chairs are full members of the committee, so they have as much voice as any of the adults, and they do take the lead with several of the activities and run with it. I've always been inspired about how really involved that they want to get, how meaningful it is to them. Excuse me. So they're really a vital part of our committee, and they're really an inspiration to us all.
And with that being said, just adding on to that, Jonathan, what role do you see service projects and children's activities playing in fostering a sense of unity and engagement during this specific event?
So we have so the student volunteers as well as adult volunteers work with the children on whether it's reading to them or on the service projects themselves. So everyone is together, working together, for really a common cause that's service to others. And I think that just sort of builds a wonderful spirit around the entire event.
I would like to say so myself. Anytime we talk to business leaders, owners, authorities within Greater West Bloomfield, more than likely, if they're doing something, they have other organizations, other people involved, and we love to see that people coming together to accomplish great things for our community. With that being said, joining us right here live on The Splash, United We Walk co-chair members Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay talking about the United We Walk 2025 event coming up. Now, just a few more questions before I let you go. Sonia, with you, in what ways do you see United We Walk extending Dr. King's dream beyond the event itself into everyday life in West Bloomfield?
You know, that's where I talk about those possibilities, those opportunities, with regards to not just it being an event for January 19th, but thinking about how as a community that we continue to live out the life and the legacy in our works and our deeds and in our actions. Again, it's those different organizations within West Bloomfield, as well as working with United We Walk, to really think about what does it look like every day of the year, right? And it's some of the continuous event that we do as a community. Like I mentioned, Juneteenth, that's one of the events. There's several different events that happen throughout the year that also encompasses that life and the legacy. I want to go back to something that you asked Jonathan about with regards to the student co-chairs. I'll be meeting with them later on today. But one of the things that like the student co-chairs will be doing is on January 9th and 10th, they are organizing for our student co-chairs, are organizing for high school students to go down to the elementary buildings to read to the elementary students.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's taking it a step deeper in terms of understanding the purpose and the why behind we celebrate United We Walk and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights activists that have contributed to his dream, his life, and the fulfillment of that, and how we have gotten to where we are now, and how do we as a school community live out those important values, right? And in terms of peace, in terms of acceptance and inclusivity of others, and all of those things. So they are working to build that with regards to a busload of students going to a building at a time and reading to the entire building at the same time. So every student, say right now I'm sitting at Scotch Elementary, every student on January 9th will hear the same story read by high school students at the same time. So building wide, they're all going to be engaged in that story.
Nice.
And the same will happen at Gretschko, the same will happen at Doherty, the same will happen at Chico. And this is student-led. And then we have Voice of Equality. And that's a student-led group from the high school as well that will go in and engage later on after United We Walk, and you talk about that extension, and they will go in and work with different projects with the students. So again, our student leadership also being actively involved in this and them leading the charge. Sometimes, as adults, we have to move out of their way, right? And let the students lead. And this is a way that we let the students lead and we move out of their way. And again, this is how we are expanding, the reach and taking it a little deeper.
Yeah. I like that. See, and I love that you brought that full circle because, for one, you as an adult, you and Jonathan as adult leaders, you're setting that example for the high schoolers. The high schoolers are feeling like, hey, let's go beyond and extend beyond, like we said, beyond Dr. King's dream, and set that example for the elementary, the next generation. And then we would hope that will continue to trickle down. So I love that you gave us that information and painted that picture for us. We have to let you go. We appreciate both of you for being here, but real quick before we go, Jonathan, the details of the United We Walk 2025 event again and how people can get involved.
So first of all, easy way is just to show up and participate in the walk and the project. But certainly we're happy to accept donations. There'll be people there who might want a snack or water. We're always getting those from various places. We'll also accept cash donations as well. to help us further our work, our projects that our folks participate in. So, and we can get you that information so you can share it with the viewers.
Perfect. Thank you again. Once again, United We Walk, Sunday, January 19th, West Bloomfield Middle School on Orchard Lake in West Bloomfield. And from United We Walk, co-chair members Sonia James, Jonathan Warshay, we appreciate your time and information.
Thank you.
For having
We
us.
appreciate you as well. We hope to see everyone come out. It's not just for the kids, it's for the entire community. It's going to be a great family event.
We will certainly be there, and it is going to be a great event for the entire community. Big thank you to Sonia and Jonathan for their time in coming out to tell us about this great event. Lots more big stuff to get into right after this quick commercial break. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. As the winter weather continues to rage on, people are looking for great ways to continue to stay active throughout January, February, and the rest of the winter months. And a West Bloomfield Running Club is creating new bonds and is keeping the community members active this winter. Our own Kevin McIntosh joins us in the studio to tell us more.
Between the months of January and March, we have plenty of excuses here in West Bloomfield to hibernate and stay away from the outdoors. But there is a small group of individuals who come together on a frequent basis, not only for the camaraderie, but for the physical fitness as well. I visited a local business that's all making it possible. Here's the story.
I've been running with the Fleet Feet Run Group when it was Running Fit since about 15 years ago. And the run group as itself kind of went away for a while, and now it's coming back. We're building that back up, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
So these are people that I've run with in other contexts as well. Some of these folks run out at Lake Orion, on the hills in Lake Orion, and I see them out there. I just enjoy that. It's a fitness activity and a social activity, social connection.
Fleet Feet's weekly social runs in West Bloomfield is open to runners and walkers of all skill levels. With the motto, no runner or walker left behind, these meetings offer a supportive and welcoming community.
So I really like the diversity. I like how when it gets busy, everybody's talking to each other, because sometimes there's only a few people here to work and that, wait a little bit, but then like everyone entertains each other. It's just a really good community. I think it's a common medium, for people to come together.
Although Fleet Feet has multiple locations across Southeast Michigan, we asked why West Bloomfield is a great place to run.
So one of the largest things that I've found since being here at the West Bloomfield store is the West Bloomfield Trail. I think it's an amazing trail, whether you're walking, whether you're running, whether you're just trying to get out the door and enjoy the weather. The nature looks beautiful. The West Bloomfield Nature Preserve, really nice place, which we do have a group walk there on Mondays.
Despite the cold temperatures, the group meets every Wednesday evening, embracing the challenge and benefits of outdoor running. Even staff says it's not just about fitness, it's about friendship, positive energy, and the sense of accomplishment that comes with braving the elements.
I mean, we all know the winter months are slow, long, dark. Obviously, that doesn't help with people and their depression, general wellness. So being outside, being moving, seeing other people is just a really great way to lift the mood, lift the spirit, and breathe in that fresh air.
Whether you're aiming for a 3-mile walk or a 6-mile run, Fleet Feet ensures everyone feels included. Many runners say the group helps them stay motivated, build confidence, and connect with like-minded individuals in Greater West Bloomfield.
The run group has just a lot of people that really know a lot about running and how to start running and what it really takes and the struggles you have. It's never about speed, it's never about distance, just getting out and enjoying yourselves, having a social, and then making it a habit so that it's something that really becomes part of your life and your lifestyle.
So this group is very beneficial in terms of motivation. There's social connection. A lot of times it's easier to get out and do a run, especially in this crappy weather. Now, right now it's not icy, but sometimes it gets pretty dicey outside, and it's good to have somebody with you in case of an emergency, so you have somebody to call, and the camaraderie is helpful for motivation.
And although I was there just to tell the story of that social run group at Fleet Feet, they also made me feel like I was part of the group with welcoming arms also. What you may not see from that footage also is in order to get some of that video, I had to do some running as well, and it felt great. So once again, I want to thank Fleet Feet of West Bloomfield, located at the shops of Old Orchard, right across from the Orchard Mall on Maple and Orchard Lake. Back to you, Jake.
An inspiring group proving that fitness and community go hand in hand. A big thank you to Fleet Feet for keeping the spirit of running alive no matter the weather. A local financial empowerment contest wants to utilize your creativity for a piece of a prize pool. Greater West Bloomfield High School students, your creativity could earn you a part of a $10,000 prize pool. The Oakland County's Treasurer's Office is inviting public high school students in grades 9 through 12 to enter the 2025 Financial Empowerment Arts Contest. Submit your best work in 2D art, mixed media, photography, or even video, focusing on the theme of financial empowerment. Entries will be judged on creativity, execution, and how well the theme is expressed. Cash prizes will be awarded to the winners and honorable mentions in each grade. The deadline for submissions is March 14th, Friday, March 14th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. If it's midnight the day after, you're too late. Find more details and the submission form online, and don't miss this incredible opportunity to showcase your talent and win big. But a fantastic showcase for a lot of young local artists to get their work out there to make a big difference. Free resources for veterans and families in Greater West Bloomfield. Mark your calendars for a vital resource fair happening on Thursday, January 23rd from 9 a.m. to noon at Lion Oaks Golf Course in Wixom. This free event will offer free food boxes, assistance with veterans benefits, career planning, training programs, job searches, and even one-on-one time with an employment specialist. Representatives will also provide housing counseling and details about Oakland County parks and recreation opportunities, as well as their veteran transportation program. Don't miss this chance to connect with resources and support designed specifically for you and your family. Head to Lion Oaks Golf Course at 52251 Pontiac Trail to take advantage of these incredible services. But great resources for all those veterans. But that's going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all our guests, for everyone who works on this team behind the scenes, and for help getting stories. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.